I think we're going to have another huge move on Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday to beat the herd or the crowd. I recommend that as soon as you are finished listening to this market wrap, you go right to Schiff Gold, buy more gold and silver.
I think you are witnessing a period of time where paper promises are no longer demanded, and it is the tight physical availability coupled with the massive delivery demand. They're being asked to settle in actual metal, and that's something that never happened before, but it is breaking the system.
Silver's been a lot more volatile than gold all week, but the important point is that the volatility is taking place at these very high prices. This is just another consolidation of this big breakout. Looking for a big pullback to buy silver, think again. The opportunity to buy $50 silver is long gone. You're lucky if you can buy $70 silver.
Economist Peter Schiff and wholesale expert Andy Schectman issue an urgent alert. A massive price explosion is likely imminent, potentially igniting as early as Sunday night. They advise investors to act immediately to beat the herd, warning that the financial system is fracturing under the weight of unprecedented physical delivery demands. The era of paper promises is ending, replaced by a scramble for actual metal that the market struggles to supply. While silver remains volatile, this is merely a consolidation at high levels, not a reversal. Schiff is blunt regarding price targets. If you are waiting for a dip, think again. The days of $50 silver are long gone, and even $70 may soon be unattainable. The physical window is shutting. If you found this analysis helpful, make sure to hit that like button, share it with fellow investors who follow gold and silver, and subscribe so you don't miss the next big update.
Gold stocks are different types of investments than physical precious metals. There's a lot more inherent risk when you own an operating business that is generating a profit. I look at gold and silver as a store of value, long-term, safe haven. Gold and silver mining companies are risky businesses, right? I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong when you're operating a gold mine. But the upside potential dwarfs the downside risk. And in fact, I think today was a great day for the gold mining stocks, because when gold was down about $70 and silver was down $4, these stocks were all getting killed this morning, down 3, 4, 5%. Some of them, I saw one silver stock that I own was down about 8%. Now, it ended up positive on the day. But why are these silver stocks getting hit so hard when silver is $90 an ounce? None of this makes sense. Yes, gold and silver stocks have tripled along with the price of gold and silver, but their profits are going to go up a lot more than triple. These stocks should be much, much higher. The reason they're not is because Wall Street still doesn't understand what's going on. And remember, there are really two different buyers. Wall Street, where they buy stocks, they're not buying the physical metals. They're looking at stocks, and they don't understand why gold and silver are going up, and they don't expect the prices to keep going up. In fact, they don't expect the prices to stay up. That's why they've been so reluctant to bid up mining stocks and adjust their future earnings forecasts for higher gold and silver prices. In fact, they're still assuming that gold prices in the future are a lot closer to where they were in the past than where they are right now. Now, indication that maybe that's changing was the action today, because even though gold and silver finished down on the day, most of the stocks recovered all those morning losses and finished positive on the day. They all didn't finish positive, but many of the stocks that I own not only finished positive on the day, but made new multi-year highs on the day despite gold and silver being down. And what I've been saying is that these sell-offs are irrelevant to the value of these gold mining companies. Gold could go to $3,000 and they'd still be cheap. So what difference does it make if it's $4,600 or $4,500 or $4,300? Doesn't make any difference at all. Gold stocks should be going up every day at this point, regardless of the short-term fluctuation in the price of gold. That has no bearing on what these companies are going to earn now or in the future, and probably even more so with these silver miners, given how much the price of silver has gone up. And again, as I mentioned on my last report, very few people seem to understand that gold companies also mine silver. It just reduces the cost of their gold. And now their costs are going to collapse because the silver byproduct that they're mining when they're looking for gold is now so valuable that it is dramatically reducing the cost of mining gold. But I think the action I saw today is a little bit constructive in that maybe, just maybe, Wall Street is starting to figure out that gold and silver aren't going to crash. And eventually they're going to realize that they're going to keep going up. And they're going to keep going up because of the fundamentals. And the fundamentals are getting better and better for gold and silver with each passing week. Silver's been a lot more volatile than gold all week. But the important point is that the volatility is taking place at these very high prices. And this is just another consolidation of this big breakout. So if you're thinking about looking for a big pullback to buy silver, think again. The opportunity to buy $50 silver is long gone. Right? And you're lucky if you could buy $70 silver, but I wouldn't even wait for that because I think the supplies of silver are going to start to run low and the premiums are going to really start to blow out so that even if silver goes down, the price of silver coins and bars may still go up. And in fact, most of the move on the week this week happened on Monday. And so you caught the whole thing just buying over the weekend, which is what I urged all the listeners or viewers to the market wrap to do when I recorded a week ago. And I'm going to give out the same advice now. And that is, don't wait for Monday. In fact, this Monday is Martin Luther King Day. So if you're going to wait for regular trading to resume, you're waiting for Tuesday. Don't wait. I think we're going to have another huge move up on Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday. So to beat the herd or the crowd, I recommend that as soon as you are finished listening to this market wrap, you go right to Schiff Gold and buy more gold and silver.
Peter Schiff contrasts the inherent risks of mining businesses with the safety of physical metal, yet argues that miners' upside now dwarfs those risks. He highlights a constructive market anomaly. Stocks rallied despite a drop in spot prices, suggesting Wall Street is finally realizing that these high valuations are permanent. Schiff emphasizes a misunderstood fundamental. Soaring silver prices are acting as a massive byproduct credit, collapsing production costs for gold miners, warning that $50 silver is long gone. He dismisses hopes for a pullback. With the markets facing a long Martin Luther King Day weekend, Schiff predicts a violent repricing as soon as Sunday night when electronic trading opens. He urges investors not to wait for Tuesday, but to buy physical gold and silver immediately to beat the coming stampede. Let's get into the interview.
I think, first of all, when you talk about silver, it's a tiny market relative to the capital that is and can flood into. When that happens, I think the move can and will be fast and probably very much disorderly in a market that has rehypothecated. In other words, sold the same shares over and over and over again because no one ever stood for delivery. That's changing, and it's the delivery mechanism. It's like Bernie Madoff, who ran a Ponzi scheme, the largest ever, and he ran a great deal. Everyone thought it was the greatest, making these big monthly checks, never touching the principal. It's when they said we need the principal that we have a problem. You look at the LBMA. According to David Jensen, they had, and that's the London Metals Association, the London Bullion Market Association, they have 2 billion ounces in outstanding spot contracts immediately deliverable against a 140 million ounce float. In other words, that float, those bars that are standing behind the contracts, in essence, are about 15 times outsized to the number of contracts. That's a problem. And that's what happens when you have a system that rehypothecates or a paper system where no one ever stands for delivery. But I've been screaming for 4 years that the central banks are draining the exchanges. But in the last 15 months, it's been happening in the United States. Let me give you an example. To silver, in December, was the largest delivery for a month of December in the history of the COMEX market, 1974. The largest. 64,730,000 ounces of silver were delivered into the COMEX. It's called issued and stopped. Now, it doesn't mean it leaves COMEX. Some did. A good deal did. Doesn't mean that it's available either. That silver that was delivered into COMEX went into a non-deliverable category called eligible. And so far, just a half a dozen days or so into the new year, trading days, and we're already at somewhere very close to 35 million ounces of silver that has been delivered in a non-delivery month. So in the last 40 days, roughly 100 million ounces of silver has been delivered into COMEX. Now, that tells you the priority here. This isn't about paper promises because less than 1% of contracts ever stood for delivery, ever. And now we're seeing massive amounts. And so when you talk about how this can change very quickly, yeah, I think you are witnessing a period of time where, paper promises are no longer demanded. And it is the tight physical availability coupled with the massive delivery demand that is changing it because they're being asked to settle in actual metal. And that's something that never happened before, but it is breaking the system. That's why silver is going parabolic. And I would simply say this. All you need to know is ask yourself, who in the hell is doing this? Who stands for delivery for 100 million ounces of silver? And why? And why have 8 Western banks held the largest concentrated short position in the 1,000 commodities traded on COMEX? Why is that breaking? Why supposedly have the U.S. banks gone long? Who's bringing all this metal in? And if a mint box of Silver Britannias or Silver Eagles, 500 ounces in each, weighs about 45 pounds, who's taking possession of 100 million ounces? Where's that weigh? And where's it going? And the point of it is that it's happening, and you can see this real demand for real metal that is going to create some very big issues. And I think that is why silver is moving higher. You got people on the wrong side of this trade that are being forced really to look into the mirror at an existential threat. And either they cover or they potentially get wiped out. And I think that's not hyperbole either.
Andy Schectman compares the silver market to a Bernie Madoff-style Ponzi scheme, warning that the rehypothecation game is officially over. He points to the London Bullion Market Association, LBMA, where 2 billion ounces of outstanding spot contracts are backed by a meager 140 million ounce float, a dangerous 15-to-1 leverage ratio. The system worked only as long as investors accepted paper promises, but the principle is now being called in. In just the last 40 days, a staggering 100 million ounces have been delivered into COMEX, including the most enormous December volume since 1974. This insatiable demand for physical bars is breaking the suppression mechanism, forcing traders on the wrong side to face an existential choice: cover immediately or be wiped out. As the tiny silver market is flooded with capital demanding delivery, the move to higher prices will be fast, disorderly, and violent. If this gave you value, smash that like button, share it with those paying attention, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Stay alert, stay prepared, and keep stacking tangible assets.